Ah, shit. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our patrons. To find out more, visit patreon.com/BottleRocketGaming. Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's Kirok here. Welcome back to another BRG podcast. And this week, Jester quit. I can't believe he left me. No. As you can see, I have a different co-host today. Jester's away on vacation, enjoying some time, family time, and everyone deserves that, right?
Well, R&R.
And who I have here is Nachopanda. You've seen him before. He's been on the show a few times. Hello, Nacho.
What's up?
How you doing, buddy? Good. A little nervous. Gonna admit it. A little nervous. I'm
running the helm without
piloting.
Your co-pilot.
A little nervous. This is episode 77. And if you don't know, this podcast is a gaming podcast. We talk about gaming news that's come out and do some quick little what are they called? Speedy bits at the very beginning. We cover the news, and then we usually find a topic that we can get right into. But before we do that, Nacho, what have you been up to?
Well, I've just been, besides working on the podcast with you guys, doing my esports segments every other week, I've been streaming a lot, working on building my channel, kind of playing around with different ideas and stuff like that, but just a lot of gaming and a lot of streaming. So
Cool.
Yeah, it keeps me busy. Sure.
I recently kind of gotten into a groove in streaming as well.
Right.
So I'm doing Mixer. This guy, you guys can go find him on Twitch. Check him out. I often join the stream.
Yeah, it can get a little nutty, but that's what keeps it interesting. It keeps it entertaining.
Yeah,
it's all about having fun, right?
So for myself, I recently, it was last Wednesday, I started streaming VR.
Oh my god, that must have been.
It was awesome. It was awesome. So I'm making it like 3 times a week, and then every Wednesday is a VR night. So that's what I'm going to keep doing.
So when you're recording VR, how do you not run into things while streaming? It just seems very.
With my hand, I've hit stuff. I've hit the ceiling. I've hit the green screen. But the Vive's got a cool feature called Chaperone, which kind of puts a grid where you can run into the real world, so you see your boundaries.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is pretty neat. Yeah. So cool. I want to say thank you for joining me this week.
Well, not leaving me inviting
all
me.
Yeah, no problem. Just because I didn't want to be all by myself.
It would. Holding a conversation with yourself can get difficult. I understand. So I'm glad I can be there for you, man.
All right. Awesome. Thanks so much. So guys, we're gonna get right into the Speedy Bits. Hey, welcome back, guys. All right, let's get into the Speedy Bits. First on the agenda, Polygon reports that Nintendo releases an update for the Switch. This is version 3.0, and it adds a long list of patch updates. I'll read off a few of them. Adds friends from your 3DS and Wii U lists, so you can actually bring over those people. Receive notifications when your friends go online. Change the user icon order in the main screen, so if you have multiple users. 6 new Splatoon user icons. But the biggest one is, and this is the coolest, is that they allow you to locate your lost Joy-Con. So if you misplace them, if you unhook them from the machine, lost them in the couch, you can actually go on the main device and make them vibrate so you can find where they are.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I know.
I can't say how many times I've actually set them aside.
Have you? Oh no, wait.
God.
I never pull them off the system.
I've done it a couple of times where I'm like, oh, well, let's kind of use it as its feature and take it off, and then I'll put it somewhere. I'm like, oh god, I have one Joy-Con.
Well, there you go. You just update your software and you're good.
Oh, awesome. Well, and to stay in the same universe of Nintendo actually posted a Polygon wrote an article from Nintendo saying that they actually have to put out a PSA almost about the new Mario Odyssey, stating that Mario does not indeed possess things in the new game. So
I thought he did. I used the word.
it's funny because in the game, from the E3 demo and what we've seen already, Mario actually takes off his cap and uses it almost as kind of like a possession type ability. And so people are now starting to, the memes are starting to come out. People are starting to joke around with that. But Nintendo had to, they had to put their foot down. They really wanted to stop everyone, try to wean people away from calling it a possession, but in fact, it's capturing.
Capturing.
So, their emphasis on that, the cap, Mario's hat is, the where they're deriving the capture ability from. So, I think it's kind of a silly thing that Nintendo is really
worried about that.
Worried about that. Like,
yeah.
it's a harmless joke. People are gonna make that. They're gonna say what they want to say. But my biggest concern is we're seeing Mario for like the first time without a hat. That's the bigger story here. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's kind of funny. But Nintendo is always kind of big on putting their foot down and making sure that people see it through their vision. So this is one of those instances.
Because I watched the video from the E3 and I said possessed on the last episode, but one of the things that Sony at E3 kind of overlooked, well, they didn't really overlook it. Rumor is that they were having Wi-Fi issues at the conference, so they basically pulled this at the last second, and then they showed it off at E3, but not during the live conference. It's called Playlink. So Playlink is essentially an add-on to existing games that they're going to have available. So it's part of their second screen experience. The intention is for you to be using smartphones, and you'll have add-ons to existing games that allow you to play side mini games, which is kind of cool. I think you can play up to 5 of your friends on a mini game on your mobile device. What I don't know is if the developer who makes said game has to develop the compatibility built into Playlink as well. So it's kind of cool. Unlike, I think they had something similar for the Vita, but now they're kind of foregoing the Vita hardware and relying on the tech you already carry in your pocket anyways. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, Playlink's pretty cool. It's not, I don't think it's a new idea. I mean, hell, the Sega Dreamcast used to have the old little game
the
things.
memory cards,
yeah, and you could take those and play a game on them before.
Oh, but, I had one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. But now you could just do it with your cell phone, so it's pretty cool. They call it Playlink.
That's interesting. I mean, with the whole addition of, games and kind of finding more mini games and just ways to contribute the whole community to it, it's really interesting. And, in the realm of video games, because that's what we talk about. Yeah. Slime Launcher officially releases their August 1st release date. So
what?
Slime Rancher. What did I say?
Launcher.
I'm sorry. Slime.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Slime Rancher. Sorry, I watched the.
Have you seen this game?
I just watched the trailer a little bit ago, and
okay.
I've got to say, this looks freaking awesome. I don't know what. I mean, I kind of get the gist of it, but basically you're harvesting these little adorable slime monsters.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, it's a very casual first-person shooter-esque game, but, you capture these little creatures, you breed them, you grow them into other creatures, and you even collect their poop. I mean, I'm sure they have a better way of saying it, but we're gonna, for the sake of just talking about the game, we're gonna call it that. The game did release its early access in January of 2016, so it has been available for a while now. But like with most games nowadays, they do the early release and then they kind of have test play and make modifications. So it looks like they finally have their official release date as August 1st. So, I mean, that's exciting. I for one, I'm going to be looking into this game. I'm more than likely going to play it, probably going to stream it just because of how fun it looks. I mean, I honestly don't know what I'm getting into, but I can't wait.
I've watched others stream it. It does look like it's a lot of fun.
It looks very fun, and it looks very kind of entertaining to watch too. So I think it's going to be a great game. It looks fun.
So speaking of games that are coming out in full, for instance, Pillars of Eternity and City Skylines has been out for PC for quite a while, but now it's coming out for PS4 and Xbox One, Polygon reports. So the company, the developer who makes it, Paradox Interactive, announced that it will be bringing Pillars of Eternity and City Skylines to both PS4 and Xbox One. I can see these games doing very well, especially Pillars of Eternity. And I've played Pillars of Eternity, and it is a RPG down to its core. You know, the old style, almost like a Diablo 2 type game. Really good, high resolution graphics, a lot of fun. I'm kind of holding out personally for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pillars of Eternity would be awesome on the Nintendo Switch. I just don't know if it has the horsepower.
Yeah, that's kind of the downside for the Nintendo Switch, being that
Yeah,
their tech is not up to what is needed.
You know, we can always dream.
Yeah, that's what we
Both
think
you
about
and
at
me,
night.
because you have it too.
Oh, of course. I sleep with it next to my bed, thinking about what could be. You know.
Yeah.
Continuing on from here, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Steam Summer Sale that started June 22nd and is going through July 5th. So for those who don't know, Steam does a summer sale usually around this time again. Goes for a couple weeks where they just blow everything off the shelves. They do crazy deals. You're looking anywhere from 25% to 90% off. I was actually just looking at it a little bit ago.
Yeah, me too.
It's insane. Like every day they're adding new games. You know, they've had games like For Honor, the Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind, Stellaris, Outcast 2, Rocket League. You know, the list goes on. And I mean, I'm excited, but I'm also very scared for my wallet because it is so easy to just drop a lot of money on this. But with the discounts, you know, it's always awesome to just kind of add to your collection of games. You know, maybe there's a game you haven't had a chance to buy just because of the price. Now's the time to get it. Like I said, it goes until July 5th. Also, if you have ever been interested and you want to save a little bit of money, they also have a discount on the HTC Vive right now until July 5th.
That's awesome.
$749. So you save $50. And I mean, in the grand scheme of it, it's you know,
it's still $50.
It's $50.
That'll work out to like 2 or 3 games because depending what game you get, they're cheaper, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you know, there you go. That not only gets you the system and all the hardware, but you get a couple games to play with it. So you know, it's awesome. They got a lot of different sales, and like I said, every day they're changing it up. So take a second, check it out. You know, find a game and play some fun stuff.
So Final Fantasy 14 Stormblood, which is an expansion, just came out like a couple weeks back, okay? And Square reports that they're having a lot of problems with DDoS attacks or DDoS attacks.
Oh my god.
So they're experiencing things like they've been going on apparently since June 16th, and they're experiencing things like logins where 6,000 plus users are just like waiting to log in, and some quests are actually becoming impossible to complete. So the only real thing that they had to say in the end as a solution was they have technicians doing all they can to improve the situation. Like, what are they going to do? Like,
I mean, if it's an attack like that, you know, they have to take every precaution because they don't know the severity of it. And
yeah,
I mean, a game like Final Fantasy, that's crazy that somebody is directly attacking that.
Huge MMORPG. I actually have it. I do. I think it's for Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn, but this is an expansion to it, and it never really caught on for me. So,
yeah. Well, you know, it's unfortunate, but maybe with all this stuff happening, we can think about a more optimistic story and something to look forward to in the future. You know, we actually have a story from Engadget. I always say that wrong. Seaweed could actually give us longer lasting electric car batteries.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. They actually found this specific type of seaweed. It's a red seaweed. It's a lithium sulfur battery that actually expands the life better than the traditional lithium ion batteries. So I mean, the problem with it though is that sulfur dissolves, giving the lithium sulfur batteries a short lifespan. But red seaweed has this I don't want to say ingredient, but it's called carrageenan, a derivative that stabilizes the lithium sulfur, making the battery more practical for more devices. So instead of giving like a lithium ion battery life cycles in the hundreds, it expands it to thousands of life cycles. So
That's awesome.
that's incredible for
Yeah,
the sake
because
of, you know.
phone batteries are like 500
Right,
cycles.
exactly. And then from there, you're like, well, what do I do now? You
Yeah.
kind of are screwed. With this, I mean, I see them. I see a bigger scale picture when they're thinking of using these kind of lithium sulfur batteries, because I mean, I don't think tech will. I mean, they'll probably want to look into it, but I mean, they really make their money off of making a short lifespan. It seems like, you know,
Yeah.
they don't want your phone lasting for
Oh
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
couple more years. They want it to, you know, live its lifespan. But I mean, the fact that they're looking into, you know, electric cars and stuff like that is really exciting. It's really awesome that, you know, they're pushing forward the technology and they're really seeing where they can go with it. So,
So
you know, electric cars are the future.
yeah, well, speaking of electric cars, or I have some bad news actually. A Tesla driver. So this is an electric car, but autopilot enabled, right?
Oh
There was
no.
a driver that crashed and unfortunately suffered fatal injuries from the crash. Basically, they
Oh.
did an investigation into this and they discovered that during the trip that this driver took, there was about a 37-minute portion of the trip where he had to hold the steering wheel, where it only registered the driver holding it for about 25 seconds. And of course, a crash ensued, and of course, a life was lost. So it's not a funny thing, but this raises a whole bunch of questions. Like, is this the beginning of some inevitable crashes, right? Um, do we put our faith in machines? Um, what if he suffered some sort of medical emergency while driving? Should we have driver companies, the manufacturers of these cars that do autopilot, have a way for the car to sense if a driver is in some sort of medical distress? Do you get
You
what
know,
I'm saying?
it's funny that you say that about like medical distress, because you see a lot of companies, not so much electric in specific, but
Yeah.
just car companies are making a lot of precautionary medical, or, you know, warning signs that, you know, help assist the driver. Now, I think
Oh,
it's
yes.
it's interesting with the whole autopilot feature that Tesla is offering, but I think the responsibility for drivers, until this is a complete like overhaul and like auto driving cars have been fleshed out completely, the driver should still be fully aware of what's happening. Like, I wouldn't, if I had a Tesla, which I don't, I would not, even if I had a straightaway drive for like
You wouldn't
20
fully
miles,
trust it or
I
let it
wouldn't fully
run.
trust it.
Yeah.
It's in our nature to, or it should be in our nature to want to protect ourselves. And, you know, that's
Gotcha.
unfortunate that he lost his life to this, but, you know, it's something that is still very new. I mean, self-driving cars are only, you know, they've only really been, you know, tested on road for what, like
What?
five,
Like
less
less
than
than
5 years.
five. Less than five.
So, you
Agreed.
know, there's still a lot that needs to be
Yeah.
resolved in this case, but, you know, it's unfortunate. Maybe, I mean, the the thing that we can only hope for out of this story is that there's something positive that they can learn from this,
Yeah.
because, you know, it's unfortunate that somebody had to lose their life for this to arise. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate to hear.
Yeah.
But you know, we're gonna move on to another story. It's a little, it's obviously, it's away from vehicles and all that somber type stories. It's actually a more uplifting story, because it has had its dark days. Star Trek Discovery is finally getting its embark date. It's getting its show finally started. It has its date, September 24th, 2017.
That's
CBS
awesome.
finally moved past their dark moment where they just couldn't get everything together. They had to delay. You know, the production was in shambles. Things just did not look great. I mean, people were nervous. And
Yeah.
so they finally they kept their head down, they pushed through it, they got through it. And they have a 15 episode season starting Sunday, September 24th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time on CBS. So, you know, it's going to be exciting. And it features actress Michelle Yeoh as Captain Philippa
Yeah,
Giorgio, and actress, oh, is that Sonika Martin Green?
Sunika.
Is
Yeah.
that Michonne?
No, that's
Oh, no,
the sister of the big guy. Or was it the sister? I can't remember if it was the
oh,
sister.
I forget her
From
name.
Walking Dead series. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
she is from The Walking Dead, and
Yeah,
she's
she's
gonna
a
be a first officer.
sniper. She's a
Yes,
sniper.
yes, the
Yeah, yeah,
sniper. I forget her
yeah.
name. I'm totally blanking.
So she's
And
gonna be first officer.
so,
I am super excited.
you know, I can't say that I am the biggest Star Trek fanboy, but when I heard about Star Trek Discovery, my ears perked up a little bit because
Yeah.
I think anything space and space discovery, it kind of gets me a little excited and kind of eager to see what it has to offer. And I mean, it wasn't in my repertoire of shows to watch when, Star Trek was really in its prime. So, uh, I'm at that age where I can really enjoy it and take it for all it is worth. So,
It's gonna
you
be
know,
awesome.
we're gonna get to discover space together, you
Yep.
guys. It's exciting.
So speaking of space, this is the last one, guys. I know we're going a little long with this, but NASA wants to probe Uranus in search of gas. This is being reported from BGR. Yeah, so the gentleman who does this article, his name is Mark, and he basically indicates that as a species, as a technically advanced scientific species, we've pretty much looked at, we haven't completely explored, but we explore more the inner planets rather than the outer planets, and that's about to change. So hold on to your butts because Uranus is about to get probed for science.
Oh my god.
He goes on to explain how Uranus has a lot to divulge, like the kind of gas it has in its atmosphere.
Oh my god, NASA, you just know how to tickle our funny bones, you know? This is actually really exciting. I mean,
Yeah,
the fact
it's
that
cool.
it's just chock full of that, that slapstick humor that we just love so much here at BRG.
But we're gonna end there, okay?
Yeah.
At this point, yeah, I mean, we'll let the gas speak for itself. See you guys.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Welcome back. It's Kirok here, and we're going to get into the game releases for this week. And your first game is on June 27th. This game is called The Golf Club 2. It is a simulation or golf simulation game coming out for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It's a sim at heart. You can play the game. You can play like a golf game in the video game, but where this game really shines is that it's got realistic graphics, none of those cartoony big head hot shots golf, but you can build the entire country club that you go to golf. And when I say build it, I mean lay out the building, parking lot, all kinds of stuff. It's quite impressive how far they've taken it. This next game is coming also on June 27th, and it is called Arizona Sunshine. Now, this game is for PSVR only and is a virtual reality survival horror game. It's been out for a bit for HTC Vive and the Rift. I haven't played it yet. I actually have it, and it is a zombie survival world where you just like shoot them all up. There are scenes where you're in the dark, in the caves, and you have to use a flashlight with one hand and a gun on the other hand, and you can't multitask, and it's, oh my god, it's so good. Also June 27th, we have Valkyria Revolution. This is an action RPG for PS4, Vita, and Xbox One. The game originally came out back in January of 2017 in Japan and now is being released worldwide. It's an RPG. I mean, the small country of the Jutland is economically blocked by the blah, 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 blah. Your next game on June 27th is Elite Dangerous. Now, this game's been out on PC for a bit, and it even made its way over to the Vive and the Rift. It's coming out, however, on this date for the PS4, not PSVR, PS4, which is kind of a letdown. The game is basically you traveling in space, and the universe consists of over 400 billion star systems, and there are space stations, and you can go in there and trade and upgrade your ship, and it's pretty much a combat sim space adventure type game. And this is a big one, guys, close to my heart. On June 30th, we have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. These are remasters of the first, second, and third games that were out back on the original PlayStation 1. This is a platformer for PlayStation 4, and I cannot tell you how many hours I've spent playing this game. That fuzzy little marsupial, I love him so much. Does anyone even remember the commercials? They were freaking awesome. All right, guys, and the last one this week is actually not a game, it's a DLC, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC Pack number 1. This comes with a few new features as well as a story element. The story element is called Trials of the Sword, and it also has a hard mode, Heroes Path mode, and travel medallions as well as new armor. This game is fantastic. I can't wait to get my hands on this expansion or DLC. And that's it, guys. So that's the games for this week. I hope you enjoyed them, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now. And welcome back, everybody. All right, so we're going to get into the main topic for today's show, and that is, and I don't know if you've heard about this, but this is freaking awesome, actually. In my opinion, it's awesome. Atari to make a console is going to make a console in more than 20 years. That's right. You heard me right. Like Atari. So for those of you, this is reported by the website Telegraph. For those of you who don't know, because I don't know how old you are, and our viewers and so on, Atari had a console way back in the day, and in the previous episode, Warped alluded to this and said we would talk about it this episode. So I figured it would be a perfect topic for our main topic, right? And Atari, the company, they made a console back in the day called the Atari 2600. This was first launched in 1977 with the game Pong. So I don't know if you guys know, Pong, right?
That?
You know Pong.
Yeah, I know Pong.
So
I've seen it in the history books. I've read about it.
Have you ever played it?
I've played it, I think, in arcade, with the turn on.
Yes.
I actually played that.
And you have the little.
My grandpa had one. Yeah.
It's like a digital version of tennis down to its basic form. You have two little guys defending their side, a dotted line in the middle, and this little ball going between them, and they bounce off each guy until one can't get it. So that's Pong, and this console came out for the home. It was actually called the Video Computer System or something, VES. I can't remember exactly. But when it came out, and over the years, it actually grew in popularity, did pretty well, and a series of games came out on that system. And some of them, I'm going to read them off here, but you guys will recognize these. And it's funny because when I was gathering this information, I was thinking to myself, holy crap, like some of the games that we see today were actually nothing new. They're just new iterations, new versions of what came out back then, Right. In fact, it's more prevalent in their last console, but the Atari 2600 had Asteroids, 1981. That's when that came out. The other game that was pretty popular, and this is just a condensed list, Centipede, if you guys ever remember. So Centipede was in the arcades, it had the little roll ball, and you were at the bottom of the screen, and you'd shoot up and kill the centipede that was snaking down. Defender, also 1982. Galaxian, 1983. Missile Command came out in 1981. I remember that one when I was in school. That was awesome, in elementary school. Pac-Man.
Who doesn't know Pac-Man?
Exactly.
That's classic.
Now, everyone knows Pac-Man from you remember those tabletop video game systems where the TV was built into the glass table, and they had
those around.
Yeah, you can still find them, but Pac-Man came out in that version, Miss Pac-Man as well. And in fact, Pac-Man in 1982 came out for the Atari 2600, and Miss Pac-Man came out in 1983 for the Atari 2600. Over the years, they had a series of iterations of the console until the company kind of got not taken over as in bought out, but other companies that were new and emerging, such as Nintendo and Sega and Sony, overtook them, and they kind of just fell to the wayside.
Yeah, they definitely had their competition, but they really did start strong for at-home console gaming. They were the original home household game. Mm-hmm. But as like you were just saying, Nintendo, Sega, they all started releasing their household systems. Atari had to do what they had to do and update. So in 1993 they actually came out with another system, the Atari Jaguar, and now that was kind of the
I
competition.
remember that.
See, I don't know if I remember the games, and I'm gonna kind of go off of. I'm gonna list a couple of games that were kind of prime games to play for the Jaguar. But I do remember this actually.
Yeah, my
And,
buddy had it. My buddy had it. I went over to his place and played with it. It was
I
pretty cool.
think my uncle had one, and I remember playing a lot of these games like Doom, Wolfenstein 3D,
Yep.
Alien versus Predator, Rayman. Rayman, I remember that game very vividly. That was like one of my first side-scrolling platformer games that I ever played. Primal Rage and Worms. Those games were kind of like what I grew up on. So, I may not have been raised on like the old school like Asteroids, Centipede, that kind of stuff, but I do remember Atari when they were still a competitor. But I think at that point in console gaming and household gaming, they were really struggling to stay afloat with all the sea of competition. Nintendo had their Super Nintendo system, Sony had the PlayStation. The original PlayStation was out.
I think it was the original PlayStation 95.
Right, and Sega had the Genesis, and then eventually the Dreamcast and all that. But
I used to have a Sega Saturn.
Sega Saturn, even that was great because that was one of the first disc related. That was one of the first systems that had a disc.
And incidentally, the Jaguar I think was a cartridge based game system.
Right, it was. Yeah, they were still utilizing cartridges at that point, which you just have that nostalgic feeling of like, pulling it out, blowing in the cartridge, slamming it back in, pressing the reset 20 million times. But, unfortunately for Atari, their efforts kind of fell short because in 2013, they actually had to file for bankruptcy, which, was unfortunate to see one of the kind of elders of gaming, happen. But they did kind of bounce back a year after that. With a more refined focus on mobile gaming and casino games. So, they may not be what they were at one point, but they are not gone. So it's kind of like they refocused and they're still around. They're still alive.
Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome. I don't know if you recall. Do you remember I vividly remember the T-shirts with the Atari logo on them.
See, I never had
because I was a little kid at that time, so I'm a little older than you. So at that point, yeah,
right.
But I remember vividly kids in elementary school walking around. They would come in and they'd have the Atari logo on their shirt, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. And I always loved the Atari logo. Yeah, so I mean, they didn't really fully kick the bucket, but. Us guys who liked Atari from the start, because I remember going over to a friend's house and watching him play certain games on there. I can't remember. I think Pitfall was one. I could be mistaken, but we Atari likers never really Atarianites never thought that they would actually completely go away, and they never did. They never actually did, and now that day is near. So. The chief executive, his name is Fred Chesnace. I can't really read that. Told the GameBeat website that, and this is a quote, we're back in the hardware business. So he basically, yeah, I know exactly. So he basically stated that we're back in the hardware business, and this is now, right? And there was another little tidbit in that same article, which he also alludes to. This new Atari console, dubbed the Atari Box, by the way, we haven't even said the name, will be using modern PC components, which is pretty cool. I mean, that kind of leaves you thinking a bit. And the only other thing that they basically showed was the teaser video. So there's actually a teaser video out that shows the console, but it does it in a way that doesn't reveal a whole lot.
It gives you just enough to kind of get your mouth watering and make you kind of
build that
build the hype, but it doesn't give you enough sustenance to build off of.
Go check it out. You can find it on YouTube. Just go and type in, Atari Box, and you'll be able to find it and watch it. It's literally a 20-second video, and all it is like a zoomed in section of a unit, a console. It's
Right.
so zoomed in, you don't see the entirety of this console. All you see is wood paneling, which is basically their classic trademark.
Exactly.
Because the old 2600 had what looked like wood grain paneling on it, right?
Right.
And then as the camera pans around on this close up section of the device, you can actually see little fins which look like plastic fins. So it is reminiscent of the old Atari 2600. Like I said, check it out. It looks pretty amazing. The video ends off with the Atari logo itself, which lights up. It looks almost like it's backlit, LED backlit. And then you hear like a video game sound, just really quick split second of a video game sound, and then it goes black. So I'm excited.
I mean, this is huge. Like what you were saying, Atari, they kind of went through their trials and tribulations in the last, 10 years, and now they spent some time in the dark, didn't really give a lot of information even right now.
I know.
They got the people thinking again. The conspiracy theorists will start to come out of the woodworks now that, Atari is back. Now, I mean, I don't really know what to expect, but the fact that you said that they're going to be using modern PC tech for the hardware, I mean, I'm expecting a whole revamped kind of system of not like just repurposed, like a repurposed system with like all their old school games. Like we're expecting something very modern, something to really rival the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro and those kind of systems that are kind of the prime systems for most console gaming. But beyond that, we really don't know. I mean, that trailer.
The trailer's short. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's just like, boom, here, check it out. But doesn't give anything else away. Right? It's a box of some sort. It's Atari, and that's it. So, like, we don't even know the name. Well, we do know the name. We don't.
They
know
have
the
a name for it, but
but is this one of those project names like Scorpio?
It's going to be like exactly. That's what I think it's going to be.
And at the same time, it's like, what is this thing really going to look like? So, I've actually read some articles and listened to some other people online talk about it, and there's this notion out there that it's going to be a retro box, kind of like what Nintendo did with their NES. They kind of re-released it, a mini Nintendo, remember?
Yeah.
But I don't get the sense from that. Personally, I think this is going to be one on par with the PS4 and the Xbox One. I think this thing is just going to come out of left field and fucking throw them. Oops, sorry. And throw them for a loop. Microsoft and Sony are going to be like, what the heck just happened?
Exactly. And that's what I'm hoping for. I think there needs to be something to shake up the whole status quo, because it has gotten to the point where, we expect Sony and Xbox and Microsoft to really just put out a strong system, but there's no one really rivaling them. I mean, we have our Nintendos, but
the Switch, but it's not as powerful.
It's not as powerful.
And that's been
more of a. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, it's okay. That's been Nintendo's kind of like trademark all the way through consoles.
Exactly.
Yeah, their niche, exactly.
Yeah, and I think Atari, with what we know now, they could be doing something in the dark that I think can rival. I mean, obviously I don't believe that this is going to be a repurposed system with old school games. I mean, I can imagine they'll want to they can get, value off of putting in maybe an online market.
Yeah.
And have like, you can download Centipede, or you can download an updated Centipede, like a modernized Centipede. I am expecting, exclusive titles, maybe a whole new revamped version of, I mean, let's say Asteroids. Like, let's just throw that out because it's a game that already exists. They have the rights for it. I mean, can you imagine playing Asteroids but in like modern graphics with like a spaceship and flying in asteroid fields and blowing them up, like as like in third person?
Oh, you mean like an actual 3D, like
in a 3D game? Like I'm talking like their original titles. They could do something with that kind of tech. They could really go off with what they imagine. And I mean, original titles too. They could, we don't know, but speculation kind of excites me that I think they could do, they have enough exclusive titles that they could
They
repurpose
have,
stories
yeah, they
and
have a good bed of first party IPs, right? So
exactly.
yeah, that they can
So,
do.
I mean, I want to believe. I'm an optimist. That's my that's my place. I want to hope that Atari is here to really shake things up, and I think
Yeah.
they are on par with what they've kind of given us theory about. But I mean, it's they didn't give us a whole lot of information,
No, they
but
didn't. Okay, I was looking at this and knowing how they had their previous consoles, I was thinking to myself, so is this thing going to run off discs? Is this thing going to be
right,
cartridge based? Like I mean, look at the Switch. The Switch is a
yeah,
modern console.
and it's
Yes,
all
not as powerful as an Xbox One or a PS4, but it's cartridge based.
exactly. They're still able. I mean, the possibility is still there to be a cartridge-based system and compete. And hell, they may even have kind of success with that just with the nostalgia base alone. Like people will be like, "Oh, this is a new Atari system." Wait, hold on, it's run on cartridges still, but it's
See,
running modern graphics.
well, see, this is where the thing is. Cartridges tend to be more expensive than discs, right?
Right,
So that's why
exactly.
the entire industry moved over to disc when it came to consoles.
True.
And discs hold a larger volume, which means more graphics, more better sound,
That's
better
true.
resolution. Like now with all 4K and all that stuff. So,
That's
but
yeah.
going back to that one statement Fred said, and that is console being based on PC technology. That means not cartridge,
Right, exactly. I
right?
guess that's
So
true.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I
but
think it's commonplace for it to have to be, or it makes sense that with the tech that they will be running, to have a CD based system makes sense because the sheer power alone, you wouldn't be able to run much of a game off of a
yeah,
cartridge compared to running it off of a disc.
right,
So I can
exactly.
definitely understand that, but I kind of hope that they do keep that style, that look with
Yes,
like the wood grain, that gray with like all the slits in it for like the
yeah,
fans, like
and
really look
it
like an
looks
old
a
school
lot like
system.
that just from the teaser
It
video.
it does. Just that little section of the system you saw. I mean, and even with LED, like the backlit LED of the emblem, I think that'd still look awesome. I would buy it. I mean,
Yeah.
I would be
What
on board for that
what
for
other
sure.
things do you think that this console needs to have in order to succeed? I mean, in comparison to a PS4 or an Xbox One, aside from being a disc base and new modern PC parts, it's gonna have to have like online.
Oh, of course. Online
Yeah.
capabilities is standard. Every system that exists and that flourishes now has to have some kind of online store, online play, basically a community based. I like what systems are doing now is they're building like community platforms within the system.
Gotcha.
Like in Xbox, you have your groups. In PlayStation, you can, modify your calendar to invite friends to a specific gaming event. Atari, for them to really succeed and be able to compete on that level, they need to have something like that. Obviously, online is why people buy systems. The day of playing single player RPGs and just that, it's kind of
It's
gone.
gone.
It's
Yeah.
gone. I mean, RPGs exist. They will never die, but they also always have an online aspect
Yep.
because people love playing with other people and trolling other people. So,
Yeah.
that's got to be it. And I mean, I think another attribute they need to make sure that they utilize is I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. They're not accessories, but they're third party, not third party. Okay, well, like third party titles. Let's just start with that because I can actually talk
Okay. Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Third party
Triple A.
titles, exactly. They need to be able to make sure that if they are going to go for this, if this is going to be something,
They
they
have
need to
people
make
on
sure they have
board.
exactly. They need to get people on board because at this point it's going to be hard to because it's all speculation. There's no real substance
Yeah.
based. So I think once they start releasing more information, they got to get some third party companies on board.
Yeah.
That's how these companies will succeed. And even finding exclusivity, like what PlayStation has. With Destiny 2 coming out, they have early release for PlayStation before everyone else, and they have exclusive strikes and different things like that. they need to figure out some way to be able to compete on that level as well. They need to maybe find another third-party company and get that exclusively on their Atari system.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at what's basically happened with the Switch. Everyone was kind of like, this is Nintendo's last chance before they even knew what the Switch was when they were calling it NX.
Right.
And then here comes the Switch. They announce it. Is it going to do well? Boom! It does really well. And yeah, and initially, what's happening is companies are like, yeah, we're not. We want to see how it goes. Maybe we'll make a game. We'll try this. We'll try that. Now, companies like EA are like, well, yeah, we're going to look into making games for this seriously, right?
Oh, of course. It makes sense. So they're kind of like waiting for... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. So I'm looking at this as kind of the same thing. Nintendo kind of came out of the ashes with the Switch. They kind of saved themselves. So Atari is going to kind of like I mean, they're doing the hype thing, but they're going to kind of like bring it all in. And you're right. If they get the right partners in the field, right, then they'll do well.
I'm excited to see what more they can tell us in the upcoming months. I mean, when do you see the system coming out?
I'm sorry?
When do you see this coming out?
Okay. Your audio's breaking up.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't make out what you're saying.
When do you see the system coming out?
No, ain't happening. You're saying something like, where do I see the system? And then I can't make out the rest.
Release date.
Release date. Okay, that came through fine. We had a little hiccup there. Technical difficulty.
Oh my God.
You know what? They didn't make a mention. I honestly don't know how far out they are. That they left it wide open. We might see something this holiday. We might see something next holiday. Who knows?
True. That's very true. I personally, I don't see it happening within the next 2-3 years because of just how much that needs to be done prior to them releasing it. So I am optimistically thinking we'll find a lot of more information probably next E3. I think they'll come out.
That makes sense.
They'll make a presentation, maybe have a booth, but I'm excited nonetheless.
Yeah, same here. So guys, that is our main topic for the night. Tell us what you think. You can add comments to this video at the bottom. Let us know what you think. Are you excited about this? Do you think that they're gonna make something that's worth getting? I mean, we don't even know what it'll cost, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Right. So yeah, leave your comments, and we look forward to reading them.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nachopanda, and today we are going to be talking about some crazy stories that are happening in the world of esports that we think might just pique your interest. So let's dive in, shall we? Alright, you guys, for our first story, we actually have some pretty exciting stuff coming out. E-League is actually going to be hosting the Injustice 2 World Championships in October. Now, for those of you who don't really know what E-League is, it is a televised esports competition. Lately they've been doing a lot of CSGO. They just lately kind of jumped into the world of Street Fighter, so they're kind of making their transition towards fighting combat games. So this tournament that's coming up in October, it's a 16-person tournament with a 250,000 prize pool. It's going to be hosted at G Fuel League or E-League Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. What's exciting about this is this will mark the conclusion of the Injustice 2 Championship Series, which is a 4-piece tournament going over the span of a few months with a $600,000 prize pool that will be a part of that kind of tour, the competitive tour. But for the developers of Injustice 2 NetherRealm, this is their first time into what is a kind of live hosted tournament play, and kind of their first jump into the E-League esports circuit. So this is kind of exciting, and for E-League this is their second tournament into the world of esports, or there's the second fighting game into the world of esports. Obviously Street Fighter V was their first one, but just kind of to go over the numbers of this, their E-League CSGO, their major tournament, brought in over 3.6 million views on TBS and Twitch and other third-party streaming apps. So that's just kind of a sample size of what kind of viewership this E-League can bring in. So, you know, for me, I will probably be checking this out. I'm kind of intrigued by the Injustice 2 game. It's really exciting. It's kind of fun gameplay, and it brings in all our favorite comic book characters. So in October, I will definitely keep my eyes glued to that. If you guys have any other questions, make sure to reach out to me, and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. But come October, man, fight's on. All right, you guys, for our next story, which is something I am really personally excited about, Rocket League is coming to NBC Sports. Now, this is huge because this is the first time Rocket League, a tournament, has been hosted on live television. So NBC Sports will be broadcasting the Rocket League tournament at the end of August. I think it's the 26th, 27th. This is a 2v2 tournament with a $100,000 prize pool. So obviously that will be spread out through the places. But regional qualifiers, those will take place online, with a few other brackets will actually be televised on NBC Sports Network, with the finals obviously being the main priority. So this is huge because this is their first jump into like the main spotlight. Rob Simmelcager, the senior vice president of NBC Sports Ventures, he had a lot to say about Rocket League being their first jump into esports, because what he thought what his reasoning behind it is, because Rocket League is so loosely based on traditional sports, i.e. soccer, its audience is really kind of it's easily captured because of that connection to traditional sports with the esports aspect of it, which I totally understand. It makes a lot of sense. People know soccer. This is soccer with RC cars. So I can definitely see how his thought process was Rocket League is a priority. And even the head of esports, John Watson at Psyonix, said, because of the ease of understanding, it's the perfect intro for esports for all fans of all ages and backgrounds. So, that just kind of confirms it, that they're both on the same page, NBC Sports and Psyonix. They really have a great partnership with this. I am stoked. I cannot wait to see this. I'm going to be definitely watching this televised. I'll probably, I'll get my my NRG cap. I'll represent those North American teams. But this is kind of the first step into mainstream media covering esports. I know they've been kind of doing it more and more, but I'm excited. So, August 26th, 27th, that's when it'll be. So make sure, we'll talk about it more as kind of it comes up. But I'm excited, guys, and I think you should be excited too. All right, you guys, that's going to wrap it up for us this week on our esports coverage. Like always, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Make sure to comment and like below, subscribe to the channel. Also, let us know what you think about this segment. If you have any ideas or comments or questions that you have, go ahead and comment below so that we know, and then I'll be able to respond back to you guys. Always, always, always make sure to check me up on the social media right up here. You can check me out on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Join my Discord. Talk to me. Let me know what you guys think also. So thank you guys so much for checking this out. We'll see you guys next time, and have a great day. Peace.
Welcome back, everyone. All right. So we are at the end of this podcast episode. And yeah, man, this is my first one on my own.
And I'm glad I got to co-pilot with you, man.
Yeah,
I feel honored.
I could not have done it all by myself, so thank you, Nacho, for joining me. I really, really appreciate
Always,
it,
man. You can rely on me,
dude. Yeah, so
for sure.
This has been an awesome episode. I had a ball talking about the main topic. So,
yeah.
It
was exciting. I appreciate the invitation, and
so
can't wait.
Cool. Tell me what's going on, or what's coming up for you. What do you see coming down the pipe?
So for me, I got a couple things in the woodworks right now. Because I do stream on Twitch, I am working on a reward system for my regular viewers. So I have that kind of in the woodworks, but there's still a lot that goes into making sure that is being handled correctly. But
yep.
I'm also shifting a little bit, and I am working on recording maybe a couple segments a week for YouTube. I like to play RPGs from time to time, but I don't feel that streaming them would be my best way to get them out there. So I'm thinking about doing some playthroughs, maybe some other stuff like that.
Record them.
I'm putting this out to you guys. If you think of anything that you'd like to see, make sure to comment below and tag me in it, and I'll be sure to mull that over. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's mainly what I got going on though. But
any particular RPGs in sight, or
nothing
yet?
All right, my first one, what I probably will kind of launch this with, and I don't know if it's an RPG so much, but I have the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy coming to me, so I'm thinking about doing a little playthrough of that.
Dude, that's
And
awesome.
I'm excited. So that's kind of going to be my first venture into that. So that's basically all I got going right now. And yeah, I can't wait.
So, guys, you can follow Nachopanda. He's pretty much anywhere, like everywhere. He's on Twitch, yeah,
I'm
Twitter,
on Twitch,
Instagram.
Instagram. I got
will,
a Facebook group.
Yeah,
You can join my Discord even. You know, if you guys want to join that and just say what's up. I love chatting with my community. You know, it's all about building the community at this point. So
right.
Any way you guys want to talk to me, go ahead and do so.
I love hopping in and watching you stream. It's so much fun.
It's entertaining with you in there, Kira. Yeah. It's never a dull moment.
All right, cool. So let's see what's been up for me. Like, what's coming? I've started. Okay, this is the past. I've started streaming VR, and people are liking it. I did it only once so far. Next one is coming up following Wednesday, which is a few days after you see this podcast, and that's going to be awesome. I've also been not only just streaming the VR stuff that I've been doing, but recording it as well. And plans are to edit and then post that on my YouTube channel. This way people can watch what I've already done and what I've streamed, which is pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So my YouTube channel's been kind of quiet and dead, but that stuff's coming. If you want to watch me stream, I'm on mixer.com/Kirok. There you can come in, watch me, follow, do what you need to do. I'm also part of another gaming community called Project Singularity. So you can actually go to project-singularity.com. There you can see a bunch of other guys that we usually get together at least once a week and play some video games. Last one we did was a couple days back, and we were playing Payday 2. Awesome game. And you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Kirok. So guys, this podcast has been brought to you by BRG, and you can go into the BRG forums at bottlerocketgaming.com/forum. There you can leave or register and comment, and you can put comments about this podcast or look at the different events that are happening on the BRG website and put comments in about that if you wanted. The website is bottlerocketgaming.com, obviously, if you didn't know. And so we have a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Bottle Rocket Gaming, or youtube.com/bottlerocketgaming. That's pretty much where you're going to be seeing this podcast. And you can also follow Bottle Rocket on Twitch. There are more guys in BRG starting to stream. I believe actually tonight, literally as we were recording this, Ruark from Bottle Rocket Gaming, Linz from Bottle Rocket Gaming, and a couple of other people were actually streaming Ark Survival, I think it's called. Yeah, Ark Survival. And I don't think they're still streaming at the moment. Well, by the time you guys see this, they won't be. But I'm thinking this is live. But twitch.tv/BottleRocketGaming. If you ever wanted to see some of the BRG members streaming live, you can go there. And lastly, we all do this as a hobby. We have fun doing it. Nacho came on, and said, hey, yeah, I'll help Kirok out. No problem. I come on and Warped graciously invited me on as a co-host, and but the podcast, you can, if you're feeling like the podcast speaks to you and you want to make a donation and you want to help us out, because it can go a long way to help out the podcast, support us. You can actually go to the Patreon website, which is patreon.com/BottleRocketGaming. There are different levels or tiers in which you can help us, and different rewards, I believe. If I remember correctly, one of them was, a hearty thank you, all the way up to a t-shirt, a special BRG type t-shirt that would get sent out to you. And the prize possession is a date with me.
See, that alone holds its weight in gold.
That alone makes it all worth it.
One time with the Kirok, you guys. I mean, when I think of my ideal date, I think
gee, thanks. So, yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for another episode. Thank you for Nacho. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here with me, man. I really appreciate it. All right. So, thanks, guys, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.